spend the weekend alone in that hut. Maybe I wanted to prove something to myself. Maybe I wanted to see if I could handle the kind of isolation that few people ever experience. Whatever the reason, I made the decision, and once I arrived, there was no turning back. The hut was deep in the forest, far from the nearest town. I had rented it from a man who barely spoke to me, just handed me the keys and gave me a vague nod in the direction of the overgrown path that led into the woods. The journey there was long and exhausting. I had to leave my car behind and hike through miles of thick forest, the damp earth soft beneath my boots, the towering trees blocking out the sun. The deeper I went, the quieter it became. The usual sounds of civilization, distant cars, voices, the hum of electricity, faded until all I could hear was the rustling of leaves and the occasional snap of a branch underfoot. By the time I reached the hut, the sun was beginning to set, casting long shadows in the trees. The hut was smaller than I had expected, barely more than a single-room structure made of dark, rotting wood. The windows were small, covered in grime, and the door hung slightly crooked on electric hinges. The air smelled of damp wood and earth, heavy with the scent of something old, something forgotten. Inside, the hut was as simple as it could get. A single cot pushed against the wall, a wooden table with a single chair, and a small, ancient stove in the corner. There was no electricity, only a few melted candles scattered around. A thin layer of dust covered everything. Untouched for what felt like years, I dropped my bag onto the cot and stood in the center of the room, listening. The silence was heavy. It wasn't like the kind of silence you experience in an empty house. It was something deeper, something that pressed against me, thick and unrelenting. It made me uneasy. I stepped outside, taking a deep breath of cold, damp air. The forest stretched endlessly around me, darkening things. I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. I told myself it was just my imagination, the unfamiliarity of the place with me. That night, I struggled to sleep. The cot was stiff, the blankets smelled of milk. Every creak of the wooden walls, every gust of wind outside, made me snap awake. At some point, I thought I heard something, a faint rustling outside, just beyond the hut walls. I held my breath, straining to listen, but the noise was gone as quickly as it had come. In the morning, I stepped outside to find something that made my stomach twist. Footprints. Not mine. They led from the edge of the forest to the hut, stopping just outside of it. They were deep, pressed into damp earth, larger than my head. But there were no return tracks. Whoever had made them had come up to the hut, but they had never left it. I spent the day exploring the area, trying to shake the uneasy feeling that settled in my chest. The forest was vast and endless in every direction. The trees were tall, their branches intertwined and overflowing, blocking out the sun. The deeper I went, the darker it became, the air thick and singing along. The feeling of being watched never let up, even by the time I turned the sun hard. I bolted the door shut, placing the heavy wooden table behind me. I kept my flashlight and I told myself it was just paranoia, just my mind playing tricks on me.